Whew. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to a brand new season opening edition of Pod By The BAE. I'm your host, Nathan Bond. Join alongside me, as always, Seth Varnadore, and we are proudly presented by Homefield apparel. Make sure you get the college football season started off right at homefieldapparel.com. You can use the promo code BAE25 for 15% off your first order, or you can use the affiliate link and help us out while getting some really cool merch. So, Seth, Steeg, we are going to jump right into this. We are on a time crunch. We said last week a tight 30, and it turned out to be 45. I mean a tight 20, and it needs to be 15. So
our specialty.
So, real quick, I think the elephant in the room needs to be addressed. Jim Leavitt got arrested on Monday, former USF head coach, 2025 USF Hall of Fame inductee. I think that's probably the more important part. Is like 2 months ago, they welcomed him back into the athletics department to turn around and get egg on the face. Allegedly speaking, he was arrested for grand theft over $5,000 and battery. All alleged. He was bonded out. He's been released. We'll see what happens going forward. USF maybe put out the strongest statement I've ever seen in my entire life. When reached for a statement about the situation, USF simply said, "We are aware of the situation and are gathering information." That took 8 hours.
It's called taking a stand, Nate.
So, going to be fascinating to see how all this plays out as we lead up to October 2nd with the induction and everything like that. But that's for another day. For some reason, I just keep hearing Nelson Muntz in the back of my head. Real. Tough look for the program as they search for a president and a CEO of athletics, and internally are letting people go left and right. But here we are. Do you guys have anything to add before we actually get into football?
I'd say the only thing is there's a lot of people that seem like they're clamoring for the program to make some type of amends. They reached out and did, and then if this is true, this will be of his own doing. So I think this should one way or the other. Hopefully it's not, it's all been overblown, it's misconstrued, and nothing bad happened. That'd be great. But either way, the issue is probably going to be put to rest forever soon. So,
Steeg has an official comment, presumably not on behalf of the Bay Area Examiner, but I would let you three or you two co-sign down to it if so choose. Idiot.
Allegedly.
All alleged. As we skirt very carefully around this. All right. So let's get into the football part of things. There is a football game. It is on Thursday at 5:30.
Prime time.
On ESPN. Your South Florida Bulls host the number 25 Boise State Broncos, fresh off a college football playoff appearance and back-to-back Mountain West titles under head coach Spencer Danielson, who this is his second full season at Boise, and he already has 2 conference titles after replacing Andy Avalos at the tail end of 23, went 3-1 as the interim, got the job, went 12-2, CFP, Mountain West, played Oregon really tight, was pretty competitive against Penn State. I think the overarching theme is I think this I don't know if you guys know this or have kind of pieced it together. In the mid to early 2000s, it was Boise State, USF were going to be the two jumpstart, new blood, these are going to be the teams going forward into the future of college football to kind of kick down the wall, just break the glass. One team has definitely done that. The other team has not even come close to sniffing that. And I think the most glaring thing that you can point to is Boise State has a 27-year winning streak, like a winning season in 27 straight seasons. That's the difference between different coaches. Dirk Cutter, Chris Peterson, even Andy Avalos went to a title game and he got fired the next year. Like, they just keep churning out winners while USF has sputtered and sputtered. And then it was kind of good, but then it got bad. And then it got really bad. And then it's been kind of good. That's the difference for both teams. That's the difference between the programs. And I think this is going to be some mental gymnastics for the USF faithful of why did we get beat, and why, if it does happen, why did we get beat so bad by Boise State?
Yeah, it is a team, right, coming off a playoff, obviously a really good tradition. I think on the positive side of things, they lose their best player, probably one of their best players in program history, in Ashton Genty. Lose some pretty good players off the defense from that team last year, of a defense that wasn't great, but you had a couple good guys up front, and lost one of them to the NFL draft, I believe. So they lost some talent off that team. So you're hoping that maybe there's some regression. Now they bring back their quarterback, and the offense was pretty good overall. But the question is, how much of it was based on Genty or even the threat of Genty? And we're going to talk to Nathan Carroll from Bronco Nation News 24/7 site on the Ponderosa, and get really, really in depth into Boise State from his point of view, somebody that's been at practice, and then we'll get really deep into the numbers there as well. But this is going to be, like you kind of alluded, this is going to be a really good team you're playing, right? It's not going to be like they lost Genty, they're in the toilet. They're going to be pretty good. They've got some. They've done a pretty good job in the transfer portal the last few years. They've got some guys I think that are going to pop probably nationally, and they returned their quarterback who had a pretty good year. So this is going to be a difficult test, but I think it's a good one. They're not quite on the levels some of the teams you may play after, but you'll get a really good idea of where you stand kind of in this G5 hierarchy, and it allows you to go out and really make a statement on national TV.
Yeah, and I mean, USF has been up to task against Group of 5 programs, but they've also been susceptible to getting absolutely, kicked in the nuts at the same time. I mean, that's kind of the main discussion we've had basically since the offseason is what type of USF team is going to be present, because is it going to be the team that hung with Alabama for 3.5 quarters, or Miami for the first half, or like Memphis 2 years ago? Like there's the possibility of, they seem to shine bright in some circumstances, and can sometimes maybe spring like a big victory, but that Tulane game from last year just lingers in the back of your mind of like, all right, what happens when they're outcoached, outgunned, outmanned, and that can also easily go on display. So it's a difficult line to toe, because clearly USF has been up to task against teams that they know are going to be more talented than them, but they've also been susceptible to just be an absolute stinker in those same matchups too. So how does that happen, especially when this is the first game of the season? Like, if this was game 2, we might be having a different conversation about preparation and everything, but like, both these teams have been circling this game for months now. For USF, it's probably been since the beginning, or since the end of last season. So how does USF measure up at this point? Because, Nate, you probably say it best. You got to put up or shut up at this point. Like, you're bad until you're not.
I mean, that's kind of where we're at, right? Like, even like Maddox Madsen, the quarterback, he was competent to good most of the season for Boise. 3,000-yard passer, led the Mountain West in passing and touchdowns with 23. He's had some incredible stinkers. Nevada, the playoff game, he threw 3 interceptions. Oregon, he wasn't great, but like USF's defense is not Penn State, nor is it Oregon. So this defense has been gashed by literally any quarterback that has a pulse. So you really have to worry about that. And they've got a really good tight end and Matt Lauder, who he's the top returning receiver, 47 catches, a little over 600 yards, 7 touchdowns last season. Big dude. He's 6'4", 245. Like that's a big guy in the middle. That's a pretty good security blanket for Matson. We got to make sure that is acknowledged. Like it was the Aston Jesse show for good reason, but they still had some weapons. They've replaced a lot. I severely worry, especially game 1, how this team will actually gel. You talk about building a culture, and through 2 seasons, I think you're kind of going on the right path. But you also replaced over 50% of your roster. If USF has kind of thrown this number of 54 new players. My last time I remember, 105 minus 54 is, that's still over 50% of the players that you're replacing. So it's going to be an interesting dynamic. Is the culture actually built? Is it set? Is it player led that Alex Golesh just hoped and harped on for 2 years? I think we'll find out a little bit on Thursday.
I think the one interesting aspect of this game, right, and is obviously the reliance on Genty last year. Boise State was like a top 5 in the country, I think, in scoring offense.
5th,
right?
Yep.
And usually think, all right, those usually coincide pretty well with explosive plays. What was USF really bad at last year on defense is giving up explosive passing plays. But if you go back and look at Boise State last year, they only had 37 20-plus yard passing plays. You know who else had 37 20-plus yard passing plays and everyone thought the passing offense was pretty terrible? Your USF Bulls. So
that's a fun stat.
So this is not – so that is probably one part. Now we'll talk to – like I said, we'll talk to Nathan Carroll. There is a receiver on Boise State that gives me some pause. They're hearing some pretty good reports out of camp on, and we'll get into him, a former 5-star big-time recruit that kind of had to go the JUCO route and rebuild his career a little bit. Seems to be standing out a ton for Boise State. But, until we see that on the field, maybe your weakness kind of coincides with their weakness on defense, and USF was really good against the run last year. I think they were like 19th in rushing EPA allowed. So if you can kind of build on that and then hit some big plays on offense, that's the other side of it, right? I heard you talk with Jay today about, Byram, how comfortable he's going to be his first time back out, right? Obviously, he's big. He's got the body. He's got experience, but it is the first time he will have played a live game and taken hits in a while. So that's going to be kind of the big test. Can the offense keep up? I think this will be maybe a lower scoring game than people anticipated. Not a low scoring game, but lower than maybe some people might think. And hopefully, those weaknesses line up and you're at home and you can make it uncomfortable for them and come out with a victory.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see kind of how Thursday kind of plays out. I'm fully anticipating a rain delay. I think everybody who lives in the Bay Area has seen what the weather's been the last 5-6 days. It doesn't seem like it's going to let up anytime soon. I know Ray J's got some great drainage. Drainage. But you got to worry about it. We all have BYU in the back of our heads about rain delays and whatnot. So, different coaching staff, different year. You still got we are so scarred as just a fan base that any hint of a rain delay, unless you're playing Alabama, is going to be a curse. So something to watch out for. I'm excited for the season. It is going to be a fun season. Maybe not a fun first month of the season, but it will be fun eventually, I promise.
Yeah.
If USF keeps the point differential with it in the first 3 games under 50, this team is winning the conference. That I'm putting a stamp on.
I can't wait to save that for later. It's the funny thing about college football at this point, right? It's all about eyeballs and viewership and everything like that. But at the end of the day, you can't really lose sight of the fact of the matter. And I think a lot of people probably are putting way high of expectations on Alex Golesh and USF football, especially with realignment and everything else going on and all the noise and everything. But like, if we can be 100% honest for a second, because I know I've seen all the articles about, call it like USF sleeper pick because of their scheduling philosophy and yada, 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 blah, 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 blah. Doesn't matter. Like, first 4 games does not matter for USF football. Conference play matters. That's where we're at. That's the nature of the business at this point. Get to a conference championship game however way possible. Get out of these games healthy. Do what you can. And not to say that, if we win these games, it won't matter. But like, let's tunnel vision the last 8 games of the season rather than focusing on the first 4 is my objective.
All right. So it's prediction time. I don't know if we kept score last year or not, but it's prediction time.
I was 11-1.
There you go. We will be picking
Rice
the spread. Rice in it. And then, like I said, we're going to go super in depth in the Ponderosa. So check that out. Patreon.com/Bay Area Examiner. We'll talk to Nathan Carroll, and we'll also look at some advanced numbers from last season. But currently, the line is Boise State you can get Boise State -6. It looks to be it's 5.5 in some spots, but -6 in most places. Or the total is 62 or 62.5. If you want to take the under, is the best you can get. So, gentlemen, where do you want to go in this game?
I'll start. I started getting into gambling, so that's a fun off-season concept. So I actually know what I'm talking about for once. I don't foresee this game getting into boat race territory. So I'm going to pick the under 62.5, which is funny because I have a no sweat $5 bet on the over 62.5. So I want to be a winner either way at this point.
Yeah, I was going to take under 62.5 as well. I think Boise may try to slow down the tempo and run the football, and we could also get into some wet conditions. So I'm going to take the under. I really don't know what to think about either team. I do think that USF could win, but also you could get Boise possibly stretch one out depending on how things go.
All right. I am you got to prove it to me for 4 quarters. Boise -6. And I have already placed the alt lines are out. I already have placed a Boise -9.5 at +130.
Yeah, I think if USF loses, it's not like I think that 10 number is well within the realm of possibility, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So. Prove me wrong. I mean, I don't know how many times I've said that over the last 3 years. Like, I would love to be proved wrong once. Like, I cannot go 11-1 again this year against the spread. Financially, that was awesome. Like, that was so fun. I made like $200 on the Charlotte game, but like, I can't keep doing this. I can't keep getting away with this. Prove me wrong. Do something about it, USF. Play defense for 4 quarters. Hit a couple of bombs in the first half, and let's see what happens. Make Matson beat you with his arm.
And we'll find out if they can. 5:30 on Thursday.
ESPN, tune in. With that said, thanks for tuning in. Make sure you follow us on all the platforms. Make sure you subscribe to the Ponderosa, which we're about to record. Have fun. Be safe. Go Bulls.
Go Bulls.
Go Bulls.